I am
We
here.
are,
Hi, John.
John and Neil is here
From
Newman, Georgia. We got Michael Komaroff live from the beach house in Brooklyn, New York. We got Jay Terrio, Louisiana's own Louisiana Beer Reviews. Tyler Mansell, Washington State by way of Wisconsin for Wisconsin Beer Reviews. And Thomas Metal 75, you know, you love him, hopefully, from the Massachusetts Beer Reviews channel of YouTube. Today is a really awesome look at the Trappist beer company, Chimay. Yes.
Chimay.
Authentic Trappist product. It says since 1862.
Kind of. Not exactly, but yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah, well, if you read
What does Jay have to say about Chimay Brewery? If anything.
Well, I think it's, you know, one of the original Trappist breweries, and the money goes to support the monks.
Hallelujah.
And I'm biased because I'm Catholic, so of course I want it to succeed. And so, but I like it. I mean, I like their beer. They're good. They taste good.
This is my first one by them.
Ooh, okay. You're going to be pleasantly surprised.
You're in for a treat.
Yeah,
A lot better than the last examination. That one poured all over myself. So.
yeah.
I want to know.
The blue label has only been on the market for 36 years. It's not that it's only 36 years old. So like the blue label's kind of new, and I think their white label's newer than that.
What do you have there that you just opened up, John Anille?
The Grand Reserve.
Whoa, that's what I'm talking about.
What does Michael Komaroff have this evening?
I have the red label at 7%.
Excellent. What do you have, Jay Terrio?
I've got my favorite, the 9% blue label, because I like the high alcohol beers. They have so much flavor, you know.
Agreed. Tyler Mansell, which beer do you have this evening?
The blue label.
I got a lot of blue labels representing, and here's one that I have not had. I have not had the gold label either, but I have never had the white label, which I believe is a Tripel. Correct.
Right.
And this one's at 8 per. Oh no. Yes, it is 8% alcohol by volume, and I will be enjoying this Chimay beer in a Chimay chalice glass. Cool. So let's go right down the line with John Anille. John, what are your thoughts of Chimay, and what do you think about this beer going into this examination this evening?
All three of the Chimay beers. The Grand Reserve Blue Label is my favorite, and I am very, very favorable towards Chimay. So going into it, I have very high hopes because I've had this beer many times and I have never been disappointed.
Excellent. How about Michael Komaroff? What are your thoughts going into this examination on Chimay?
I like all the Chimays. I've only, I think, had the red and the blue. I've never had the reserve, but they're wonderful Trappist brewers and very high quality, and I've always liked it. And hopefully I'll be visiting there in September, and I'll check it out.
Yeah, Jay, what are your thoughts on Chimay, the beers, going into examination mode?
Well, I mean, it's like one of the world's great beers, you know. I'm looking at their website right now. They started 1862 with brewing, and the Chimay beer, you know, like I guess that red one was in 1948, and then the one you're drinking, Eric, the white label. You hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
1956. It didn't get into the big bottle until 82. 86. I'm sorry, 86.
Nice.
And then the wait. I'm confused. Let me clear that up. 1956 was the blue label that we're drinking, but it was sold as a Christmas special. Christmas special. And then in 82, they rebranded it as the Grand Reserve. instead of making it a Christmas special, they decided, heck, we'll sell it all year long. And the white one you're drinking, the Trappist, came out in 1966.
Cool.
So, and then the gold, 5 years ago, they came out with that for everybody because the monks used to drink it only, you see, exclusively. So I love it.
That's cool. Excellent. That is some great information going into examination mode. Tyler, we know that this is a brewery that you have not tasted beers from yet, but what are your expectations going into this examination?
I am excited to try the yeast that is isolated by Father Theodore, combined with the purity of the highly protected water of the Abbey Wells. So I have high hopes for this very dark beer coming in at 9% by Chimay, brewed in Belgium.
Excellent. Now, all Chimay beers are an authentic Trappist product, and Trappist is a registered, protected trademark. Now, there's a lot of different. There are a lot of different breweries throughout the world that are certified Trappist. The really big ones are Chimay, St. Bernardus. There's West Mall. There's West Laterian. And then there's one in the United States that is Spencer Trappist Brewing, and they are out of Spencer, Massachusetts, in my neck of the woods.
Right.
So basically, what happens? I'm not going to bore you with the entirety of what has to happen in order to become a certified Trappist brewery, but for these monasteries and these abbeys where these monks they live, for them to be able to brew beer, they can do it as a supplemental income for the brewery. They can't use it as their sole form of income. So that's really first and foremost when it comes to beer. They can't form a monastery just for the sole sake of producing beer. It has to be a secondary to the. To
My
their,
question: do they also produce cheese?
Yes.
They do, and also is their certified Trappist product.
I would love to try that one day.
To go with the beer.
My thought process about Chimay is I've had the Chimay Blue, which is excellent beer. I've had the red label, never had the white, and I don't think I've ever seen the gold. Maybe I'll try to find it if I see it. But I go into this examination knowing I'm going to love this Chimay beer and knowing that these are really high-class beers, and I think they have enough character and stuff going on with it that even the untrained novice to beer might find something about this beer that they could absolutely love. So I think without further ado, let's go right down the line and hear from our good buddy in Newman, Georgia, John Anile and his Grand Reserve. He just popped open.
Take a sip.
All right.
He's coming back.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, it would be great.
Okay. So the appearance is it's very dark. It's I would say like a dark brown, and it's very hazy. Definitely can't really, you can see through it a little bit at the bottom when held up to direct light, but it's very hazy, very cloudy. It looks really good, but it's like a dark brown color.
You don't want to do that?
The smell is very, very pleasant. On the nose, you're getting raisins. You're getting a lot of dark fruit. Maybe some plum, some dates, figs. I mean, definitely in that ballpark with the fruit. It smells really, really good. There's a nice caramel type sweetness note going on as well. Maybe a little like brown sugar smell.
Yeah.
And they do add candy sugar to this beer. So it is a little bit sweeter than a lot of other beers that I've had. But, I mean, it's very, very pleasant on the aroma. It smells really delightful. And then on the taste.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Yeah. You get a lot of that dark fruit up front. Really nice sweetness. there's a unique quality that comes through with the Belgian yeast as well. That's kind of hard for me to describe, but it's very, very enjoyable. Yeah, I guess I would say dates and fig were the two main fruit type flavors that are coming through on the palate. Very, very enjoyable. A like dark breadiness as well, a really pleasant breadiness to it. Super, super. I mean, it's just awesome. It's been so long since I've had this beer, and it's, man, it is so enjoyable. The 9% alcohol is non-existent with this, and this is just a beer that, I mean, you could drink it very quickly because it's so easy drinking, but it's so complex and delightful. You really want to sip and savor the flavor of this beer. It is just dynamite. And I'm going to enjoy sipping on this. And the flavors, I'm sure, as it warms up a little bit, will continue to develop. It's just a super pleasant, amazing, amazing beer. So
That sounds real good. I want to go to the people that are actually drinking that Grand Reserve Blue Label. Let's go to Tyler Mansell. This is your first time drinking this Blue Label. What are your thoughts here? Give us a little rundown.
Absolutely. So we're getting kind of a Coca-Cola-like appearance. Besides, the head is a very fine, thin layer that's sticking around, and it looks amazing. It really does, because you can tell it's just a high-quality beer. And then when you smell it, I get a little bit of brown sugar, molasses, caramel, and it actually doesn't smell too much like barley malt. It has a very pleasant aroma, like John did say. And then if you guys went to your local supermarket and got a Newton Fig Bar and broke it down and made it into a beer and brought that to 9%, it tastes a lot like a Newton Fig Bar. It really does.
Yeah, Fig Newton.
And Fig Newton, sorry. Yeah, I usually don't buy them or eat them, but you know what I'm saying. And it definitely tastes like a Fig Bar. And it's good. It's good, though, because I'm also getting molasses. I'm getting caramel. The caramel sweetness is lingering. It's very nice. I'm enjoying it. And John nailed it right on the head when he said this is a beer that you could drink without a problem very easily. But it's also very complex and something that you would want to sip and let linger and really get all the complex aromas out of it. I think we could pull quite a few different, like even kind of a nutty quality that I get out of it. You know, there's a lot of qualities that you get out of this. Jay, how about you?
I agree with everything that they said so far. And if you're a person that is hung up on Reinheitsgebot, the German purity law, Belgian beers are not for you because they add sugar. They add other things like that would not fit in German beers. This beer has, I can see how it started as a Christmas beer because it has that spiced holiday bread.
Yeah.
About Fig Newtons, and he made me want to get some Fig Newtons. This dang bottle is only 11.2 ounces, and it cost me $4.99. So it better be a great beer, that kind of price. Yeah. I know it's going to help the monks. One thing I wanted to mention, an Abbey Ale is similar to a Trappist, but the Abbey Ale has other people produce it for the Abbey to raise money, like the Left beers, you know, Left Blonde and Left Brune. They let InBev make it for them, and then they get a cut of the profits to, you know, to pay for the charitable.
Not doing this at the tasting.
To pay for the charitable things that the Abbey does. But the Trappist beers, there's a rule that the monks primarily, notice I say primarily, have to be the producers of it. And that's, and for a while, Chimay had gotten in a little trouble because they weren't really doing it. And so they had to make sure that the monks were doing it. And that's where that St. Bernardus, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of West Flatirron 12, but it's the same kind of
principles, yeah.
Yeah, same principle, and then West Terran, and then St. Bernardus broke off from them and did their own thing. But anyway, it's I'll give you a real quick rundown.
It's a good mug of a beer, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I should be drinking out of a chalice, but this is a Schlitz mug. You know, has that Coca-Cola. You can see that Coca-Cola appearance. It's not that dark. It's double fermented, so it's croissant, just like Budweiser, I thought.
Just like Budweiser and old style.
And old style. Well,
Wow.
old style was. Old
Okay,
style
bye,
was.
Michael.
If you notice, old style, they dropped the croissant claim.
You're right. You're right.
So it's double fermented. It's unfiltered. It's never pasteurized. It's bottle conditioned. Well, Budweiser is pasteurized, except for the draft version. I was drinking an 8.5% high gravity lager earlier today, and that was really, I was saying in the video, I'm having trouble making a sentence, you know. So, but that is so much stronger. Although it was very good and it had that really rich taste, like toast, like really dark toast. And you can watch that video coming up. But
I watched your HG 800 video that was supplied by John Neely.
Yeah, the Old English 800 high gravity double down.
Wow.
That was a great double down video. But I did Schlitz VSL, the Gold Bull today, and it came out very nice, I thought. And I'll post that in about a week.
Malt liquor talk on a Chimay beer examination. Only on YouTube, folks.
Yep.
Before you get paranoid, though, they have some commonalities in the sense that they are beer. They have a lot of alcohol. Now, that's kind of like the only commonality. And they have foam. They have foam at the top. But
higher quality.
Yeah, this is a little bit higher quality. It better be $5 a bottle. But to sum it up, I have to go get the cheese. To sum it up, it's just rich, it's bready, it's sweet, it's sugary, it's candy. Like it's like holiday bready cake. There is a tinge of licorice. There is the figs. It's just fabulous. It's maybe one of the best beers I've ever had in my life. And I mean, it's fabulous. You know, I mean, I bought the West Terran 12, and how much did that cost a bottle? That was $14 a bottle, $85 a six-pack. This is a better deal, I think, although I guess the West Terran is better. Now I'm going to get my cheese.
Now, what kind of barley do they use? Is the quality of barley is just outstanding, or is it just how they roast it and they just care for it? I mean,
well, look at the website. They don't really tell you anything about their ingredients.
I'm on that website right now. I don't see anything about it.
It just tastes good. You don't taste any off flavors with it. And for being so concentrated at 9% like this and so dark, I usually don't like a licorice kind of flavor.
Here's some American extra sharp cheddar. This is not Chimay cheese. This is from American Macro Cheese Company. It's extra sharp, excuse me.
All right.
Everyone, you need to learn from what Jay is about to do right now.
While Jay is getting into this cheese, I will say briefly here. I don't know where Michael Komarov went. He's at the beach in his little cabana booth, so he's probably going in and out with connection issues. But I made each one of you, because I saw how to do it. I made each one of you a moderator on this channel. So feel free to use the control room app and control things as need be.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
How is said cheese with said beer?
Well, I think with a beer so powerful like this, and I mean powerful, I wouldn't dare drink a whole big bottle like John and Neely's drinking, maybe over a 3-hour period.
3-hour tour.
Nuts to do that. But for something so powerful, you need extra sharp cheddar cheese, something really strong and robust.
I'm jealous, Jay.
Well, don't be jealous. You can go to a grocery store and get
no, I can get I just don't have any cheese with me, but it looks good. Cheese and beer. We're gonna add that next month to the examination list.
I like it.
And it's oh yeah, and I could mention that I sliced some thin pieces this morning. Put it on a raw egg on a piece of bread with sliced salami and hot sauce and black pepper, and I put it in a toaster oven, and I had that cheese caramelized on the top of the egg. But I won't bring that up. I could have mentioned it. But anyway, this is
Sounds good.
you got to have that extra sharp cheddar. You couldn't just have regular cheddar. That wouldn't cut. That would not work. And I will say that the Doree, the gold, the Chimay Doree, the gold, it's only like 4% alcohol, but it's a beautiful light beer that the monks drink all day long, by the way.
Sweet.
Nice job, Jay. I would like to say thank you for bringing cheese to this examination.
Thank you for being high, Tyler. Woo, yeah.
What?
Was that necessary?
Yes. Hello.
You're welcome for bringing the cheese. And this is not even an expensive brand. It's just well, a store brand, but it's good. It's probably made at a huge facility, probably around Kansas City, Missouri, some kind of area like that. And it's working great. Oh, and the sauce I used this today was the Trappist hot sauce.
Okay.
So I just cracked it open. I would recommend. So now Eric's got to do the white label.
Sounds real good. I don't know what happened to our good old buddy Michael Kormaroff, but maybe he'll join again. Maybe it's just the internet out and about and 4G screwing him up. But Chimay, they say on the website, this white label, it offers a rare balance of mellowness and bitterness. All right, it's got a subtle combination. It is a subtle combination of fresh hops and yeast. All right, this beer here, let me pull up the chat. Here comes Michael again. Hello, Michael.
Oh, I lost my power.
Here is white label. You can see that it is a murky, hazy looking orangey, copperish color, more on the orange side. There is some good amount of lacing there. As you can see, there's a thin amount of the head, but the head is still retaining nicely. This glass, I don't know if you can see it. Kind of you can. Not really, but there is an etching on the bottom of this glass, so it's keeping the carbonation. And again, there's a lot of that white-looking foam there. The smell on this one is very awesome. It's very fruity, estery from that yeast. There is a ton of banana, clove, coriander, spice rack kind of notes. A lot of banana, some orangey notes as well. I'm getting almost like a wheat malt in a way. There again, it's very spicy, yeasty note. There is a little bit of like a toasty, bready note, and then as well more of a white bread. But there is a little bit of that bread, that toasty bread crust to it. There is some spicy hop to it. There is some floral grass clipping notes and tropical citrus, but primarily very banana and very spice rack in nature. So cheers. Chimay's white label, the Tripel. And as everybody has stated on this channel so far that has spoken about the Chimay Grand Reserve, I'm just going to turn Michael down a little bit. So just like everybody else said about their beers, this one is dangerously smooth and easygoing and drinkable. And I think this could actually be a really great bomber of beer to have on Thanksgiving dinner. This would be great. There's a lot of banana notes to this. There's a lot of fruity ester notes to it. Again, I'm getting all those spiced notes. It's like a fruit cake, spiced bread kind of a deal, but more of like a banana, maybe like a banana nut bread, to be completely honest. Lots of white bread, slightly toasty, very spicy in the spice rack kind of elements. It's not the hoppiest beer known to mankind, but there is some hop spice and some floral notes to it. I'm definitely getting like a wheat malt kind of, or like a flaked, I don't know if it's a wheat malt or a flaked oat or something like that. not unlike a New England style IPA where I'm getting this kind of a fluffy effervescence to it. Very small, particular bubbles. It is not burned. It does not burn going down the carbonation. It is crisp. It's semi-dry, I would say. I'm getting left with some banana and clove in the background. And it is super, super drinkable and super refreshing, to be completely honest, at 8%. And this one, again, would go good in the fall time with a Thanksgiving dinner, or it could even go with the weather now, although you got to watch out because it's 8%. But
Yeah.
this is world class, no bones about it. Very malty and very spicy up front. So if you like those kind of flavors, Chimay White and maybe even Trappist will be a beer style for you. I'm not really getting a lot of, I want to ask you guys that after Michael Komarov goes, but I'm not getting a lot of really tart, funky yeast from this Belgian beer. I'm getting a lot of like minerally kind of that barnyardy kind of taste to the yeast.
No, it doesn't really. The Trappist, really, the white label is the least favorite of mine, although I like it.
Yeah.
Trappist I don't like because they have that weird, like, it's like a grain husk flavor, and it's something that is a turnoff. So like the red, the blue label is my favorite. That's why I bought it, because I just love the blue label. And then the red that Michael has is just great, fabulous, awesome. And I forgot to mention terrific. The Doree is fine. I love that. It reminds me of like an American style, just drinking beer, you know. It's what the monks drink, you know. And then the white label is my least favorite. But I mean, that's me with my like opposition to Trappist. Michael, I bet you love the red label. That was the first beer.
Of course, my power goes quickly. I echo everything everybody said so far. My red is delicious. You can't taste the 7%. You can taste the candy sugar, and there's a certain fig character in it. The yeast is very, very slowed down very nicely. I think it's a beautiful beer. I've had the blue before as well. I do like the blue better also. This was the only thing I could get at my food co-op.
Not bad for food co-op.
No, it comes through when you need it. I was able to pick up a red ale for tomorrow for time. I list tomorrow evening as well.
Ooh.
I have to have a way that I can charge my phone during the. I'm able to power fast.
You can get USB charging bricks. They sell them at most like Walmart's and Targets and Best Buys.
Now, Mike,
right now, I lost my picture, then it came back again.
That's what I would do. Buy one of those.
now, Michael, this
Single digit.
beach club is not a place you don't stay. It doesn't have like overnight, right?
11.
Till 11.
Yeah, so it's
But
like
usually 39.
the club. Yeah, I was reading about it on the internet. It's been around for a long time.
I was going to say, I don't know, can everybody see the water?
No.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. There it is.
Now?
Yeah, the Atlantic Ocean. I've been there.
Sweet.
Got a lot of fish in it and water.
That's Sandy Hook, New Jersey in the distance. You see land there?
Kind of. Yeah, we see a little bit of a haziness of the land over there. Yeah.
Right, and you notice how the shoreline is.
Yeah.
There's still
Still a lot of sunlight out there.
You're breaking up. When I went to New York City 8 years ago, I went to that beach, you know, about 7 and 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and they had all these people out there with their fishing lines stuck in the sand, and they were trying to catch fish that early in the morning. So it was, you know, it was really fascinating. Reminded me of Louisiana.
But what would you rate the Chimay Red Label, and what would you change about it if anything?
I can't think of changing everything. I think it's a really good beer. I probably would give it a 96 and say it's world class.
Yeah. All right. And would you and so going and from going into the examination to about now, how have your opinions changed? Are they the same, or are they worse than when you started?
It's still the same.
Examination?
I know it's a quality Belgian brewer, and
He's dead.
Very happy with it. And my wife got in from here as well.
Excellent.
You said it was about $5.50 for the bottle, right?
I think it was $5.45 at the food co-op for the bottle. They have the blue, and they didn't.
I had to shop around, but I got one for $4.99. You know.
I think that must have been what this white label was.
Drift off, but I'll stay on as long as I can.
Cool. I will turn you down a little bit just to keep background noise down, but we'll still be able to hear you
A lot
just
of people
fine.
running by our cabana. So.
Eric, I'll give you mine real fast.
Yeah, go right ahead, Jay.
It's awesome. You know, it's like it has more hop character than I actually thought it did. I noticed that on the last gulps. So if it's not world class, I don't know what it is. It's got to be world class. It's got to be 100 out of 100 or higher.
While you do this breakdown of your score, have you noticed at any point recently or even right now if the beer is been changing or evolving since it's been in the glass?
No, not really. I just, I mean, with 11.2 ounces, I don't know what you don't have a whole lot to play with, really. John and Millie got the better. I didn't want to, but it was more expensive per ounce to buy the big bottle. I was like, I'm not paying. It was a worse deal in my area to buy the big bottle. I was like, no way.
If you got more people to share it with, it would be the value would be greater. Even if you're just sharing it with people, there's the value to beer.
Yeah, I'd rather drink it all alone.
Yes.
But
I'm not. I would never share this big bottle with anybody. It's all mine.
Oh.
But no, it didn't really change. You know, it didn't really change. It just it went from awesome to awesome. You know. And by the way, I was saying when Michael came on, the first video review my daughter ever did with me 7 years ago was Chimay Red Cap. That was her introduction to beer. You know, like Spaten Optimator and Chimay Red Cap. So
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you can imagine why she thought Bush Light was kind of bland, you know. But
yeah.
Jay,
yeah.
Before you give your rating, I got one question. How much did you pay? I paid $6.29 for my bottle.
You asking me?
Yeah.
$4.99.
Yeah.
Yeah, $4.99. It's a world class beer. It's like one of the greatest beers on the planet. I mean, it's awesome. It's fabulous.
Just got it. I could do it.
Depends how many people are.
I know what I'm gonna give it.
Go.
Let's see if Jay matches what you got. Let's hear it.
I said world class.
We had it last year.
Just for me, my rating is a 96.125.
125. Whoa.
Now, if you went to Church's Chicken and you, all right,
If you drink Chimay, you might get thrown out.
Okay. So I got a coupon at Church's for
Free Chimay beer. All right, sweet. So if anything, you did not give the beer a 100, but if anything, what could you use the beer doing that would raise your rating higher?
For me, I personally don't like Big Newtons, and I don't like that raisin and licorice flavor mixed with my beer. I never like stouts, you know, with that. So that's something I personally don't look for. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this beer. I'm enjoying it. I think it's high quality. I think I'm getting every penny worth, even though I paid $1.29 more than Jay did. It's all right. It was good.
Yeah, the same experience, right?
Yeah.
Well, that leaves John and Anile. Oh, hey, okay. Goodbye, Michael Komarov. I didn't mean that. No. No, wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Jay didn't even get to his actual number rating. Are you just going to call it world class? You have an actual number or your letter grading you use?
Well, I mean, I could say like, I mean, if I wanted to say, oh, well, you know, I'm such an expert. I've been drinking beer for so long. It's a 99. It's a 99. You know, it's
at least a 99, right?
It's a 99 out of 100 because it's just got that one little flaw. But I don't feel comfortable saying that because I am just a person that does beer reviews. I'm not an important person. I don't know enough about beer to even dream of finding a flaw in this beer. I would say it's a world class. It's a perfect beer. It's a perfect beer. I mean, it's perfect. So I might have reviewed 5, maybe 6 beers in my life that I thought were world class, and this was one of them. And it's one of the great values in the beer world. So I mean, it's like fabulous. But I'm not an expert. I'm just somebody that likes to review beers for the fun of it. Some people that hate me and want me to die, they think I'm an expert. I'm not.
I feel honored to drink the same beer as you tonight, since you're pretty much giving it a 100 out of 100.
Cheers to Jay Terrio, Louisiana Beer Reviews. Cheers, everybody.
Thanks, guys. But it's an awesome beer, but I don't claim to have any expertise. Drinking a lot of beer every week does not make a person an expert.
Now, I'm gonna come back to Jay in a moment because I have a head-to-head type question for you to ask you about another beer. But I bet you can guess what that is. But John Anele's got the same exact beer. Where are you in ratings and final thoughts on Chimay Grand Reserve, the Blue Label or Blue Cap?
Well, this is definitely a world-class beer. There's no doubt about it. Probably one of the top 5 beers in the world. Rate Beer and Beer Advocate actually got it right with this one. For me, it's perfect. I mean, it's up there with the St. Bernardus and some of the other, beers that I've had that are similar to this. But the Chimay has always been my favorite. And it was one of the first beers that I drank that really kind of got me into craft beer, because it was just, I was just so amazed and just wowed by this beer. For me, it's a perfect, it's world class. I think it's 100 out of 100. And as it warms, some of those dark fruit notes are starting to develop a little bit more. It's one of the few beers that I can actually say gets better as it warms too. It just develops into something otherworldly. It is just so damn good. So it's 100 out of 100 for me.
Excellent. Excellent stuff, folks. I have to mimic what you all are saying. So for my beer, I'm trying to look this up because I don't know Celsius to Fahrenheit anything. So my beer is the white label, and on the Chimay website they say to drink it between 6 and 8 degrees Celsius. So that is between 42.8 degrees Fahrenheit and 46.4 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's pretty much in the wheelhouse where I drank this. Now, as I'm drinking this Tripel from Chimay, I'm actually starting to notice. I'm going to say this to you, Tyler, and you're going to love me for this. Not only am I getting a caramel kind of a taste, I'm finally understanding where somebody can call this a butterscotch taste, Tyler. All right.
Get out of here.
There we go. As it warms, this toffee caramel butterscotchy kind of a note develops. And I'm noticing that it's a little bit more stickier and a little bit more sweeter than when it started.
Butterscotch, which is the same thing I got in Grolsch, which you didn't get. You're apparently getting right now.
Now, also with the butterscotch, it kind of is like / honey in a way too. So I'm noticing more of a sweet quality to the beer. It is not cloying in any way, but I'm noticing more of a sweet malty quality as the beer warms, and less of that upfront malty yeasty note to it, or that really big wheat malt that I was talking about, which I really absolutely enjoyed that aspect of the beer. So for me, I do want to give it a 100 out of 100, but because I can't really give it, that's going to be an A+. Let's not even deal with numbers. A++++. This is some great stuff. I've had the red, I've had the blue, I've had the white. I think I agree with Jay that this might be the one that I like the least, but that's like minuscule points away. This is such a delight. It's so easy drinking. It's so complex. I love how the yeast strain or whatever they're doing in this beer gives it that spicy, malty complexion. And at 8%, you taste only minimal amounts of that. You can tell it's a bigger beer, but in the grand scheme of things, it does not drink big. There is no burn whatsoever. You can get stupidly drunk on this stuff if you're not careful, so please watch out on that. And I think Chimay beers of any kind and a lot of St. Bernardus beers can really be really good introductory beers, but they're world class at the same time. They're easy enough beers to introduce somebody to Belgian darker ales to, and they would be totally into it. So A++, I would buy this again without question. Go ahead, Tyler.
I have a question for everyone, including Jay, because you know that priest and pastor who drinks Jameson quite a bit religiously.
Jameson.
Father Pat?
Right. Now, do you know any pastors or fathers or religious figures that drink Chimay?
Do you, Jay?
I could see a priest like drinking this almost
in a goblet.
I don't know any pastors who drink Chimay. No.
The Pope is drinking this right now.
The Pope.
The Pope is drinking this.
I'll tell you a true story. This is a true story. Actually, this is the truth.
There's got to be some out there though drinking it.
Oh yeah, I mean there must be.
Not just monks, but like priests. I'm saying.
Yeah, priests and pastors and monsignors. But I was. This is a true story. I was at confession Sunday morning because sometimes I do bad things, you know. But anyway, so I was over there, you know, and I was telling the priest, he's from Ireland. He's filling in for Father Pat, who's on a trip to Ireland to see his parents. And I was saying, you know, I said, you know, really, I was telling this priest, I said, really, the main thing I like to look at on the internet is like beer, and Irish whiskey and Scotch. And he said, oh, you know, so he's like a big Irish booster, you know. So he said, oh, he said Bushmills is great, and Jameson, of course, you know. And then he was talking about this. There's an Irish beer they use a surname in the first name, blah blah blah. And he was trying to tell me, and I was like, Irish whiskey, I mean. And I said, well, he was telling me about Patty. I said, I know about Patty, Irish whiskey. I know about Patty. He said, oh, that's a, you know, just a fabulous. And then he said, what a thing to be talking about in confession, whiskey. You know, what a thing. He said that twice. What a thing to talk about. And I said, well, you know, I mean, that's a neutral object. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was, and I was thinking about that this week. I said, you know, whiskey or beer in our case, or in this case, I'm drinking some wine now because I was thirsty. But I said that's a neutral object, and it's interesting, you know, because alcoholic beverages are neutral. They're not bad or good. They're just a drink. Jesus, after all, Jesus Christ turned water into wine, right? At a wedding. And then remember, the wedding guests remarked, they were shocked because the wine Jesus made was much better than the wine they were normally.
And wasn't there wine at their Last Supper?
They drank wine at the Last Supper, yes.
I was thinking of putting artwork back here, actually, a version of
that would be cool.
Back here.
You know, but that goes along with the story I was telling, because confession, you know, you confess your sins, you're sorry for what you did wrong. But actually talking about whiskey, wine, or beer is not wrong, because those are neutral objects. They're just a drink. It's the application of the object. It's how you use it. If you become a drug out, stumbling drunk, well, that's a misappropriation of the item, right? Jesus drank wine. Okay, so that's God, right? God made the world. God drank wine. So, but the interesting story about the wedding feast at Cana, he took water, and bear with me, Eric, because this is a good point. He took water, made it into wine, and the wedding, I always talk about this when I teach religion. The wedding guests said, oh, we can't believe it, because usually at a wedding, now we're talking about 2,000 years ago, at a wedding, they serve the good wine at first, like the really high quality wine, you know, the father's paying for the wedding. So the wedding guests say, oh yeah, it's really good wine. That comes from Pontus or Galatia, you know, that's really good. And then as the people drink, this is in the Bible. You can check me. I always tell people, check me. As people drinking through the wedding party and they're getting exuberant, let's call it, then the wedding host will they'll start substituting the good stuff with the inferior wine. The rich, back in the Roman Empire, they had Richard's Wild Irish Rose. I think they called it Caesar's Wild Irish Rose. But they start substituting the good stuff with the cheap stuff, and then you're so exuberant you don't realize what you're drinking. But the thing that caught the guest off guard, the wedding guests, after he turned the water into wine, they said, we can't believe it, because this host saved the best wine, the most exquisite wine, for the end of the wedding, which was totally unheard of, then and now, right? So I just think that's a very interesting story, how you could take biblical principles and tie them into drinking alcohol. Well, I mean, it's the truth anyway. So Jay is saying start with Chimay and go to Genesee Ice. Well, that's what they would do at a wedding.
Wow.
Went to a wedding today, they would serve Chimay Grand Reserve, and then they would go to Dogfish Head 90-minute, and then they would go to Shiner Bock, and then at the end of the wedding, they would have Natural Light, and people would be satisfied because they're drinking champagne, and they're eating the little sandwiches where they cut the crust off, and they got the little Swedish meatball. You know what people eat at a wedding, and they do the chicken dance. All right, but anyway, that's enough. But I mean, I think what I'm saying is valid, right?
Yeah, world-class beer. World-class beer entirely.
A world-class
beer from time to time. This
Bible,
beer, yeah.
the Catholic Church, and drinking at weddings.
So, that brings me back to the question I was going to ask a little while ago to Jay, the head-to-head question. So, even John or Tyler, maybe John's had it. I don't know if Tyler has. I apologize if you have. I don't want to speak for you, Tyler. But so for Jay, anybody can answer though. But for Jay, how does a Chimay Grand Reserve in the back of your mind compare to something like St. Bernardus Abt 12?
No, that's not in the back of my mind. That's in the front of my mind. I mean, it's like the same, they're like the New England Patriots and the trying to think of it, San Francisco 49ers of the 80s. They're just both like top shelf competitors. I mean, you can't go wrong either way. If somebody asked me, what would you rather have, Chimay Grand Reserve or St. Bernardus Abbot 12, I'd say both.
Yeah, same here. They're both world-class beers, and if you put them both in front of me and didn't tell me which was which, I probably couldn't even tell them apart, to be honest with you.
Do you have any do you have anything to add to that, Tyler? Have you ever had either of those beers? Or you've had the Chimay, but have you had the St. Bernardus beer?
No, I've never had St. Bernardus.
Wow. Either you or I in our channels should change that sometime.
Oh, there's a project, right?
You know what? I've heard a lot. I've heard a lot of people and read a lot about the internet, on the internet. Now, I'm sure Jay knows the pertinence of this or some more of the information than I do about this, but it's like basically the Chimay or the St. Bernardus Abbot 12 and the West Lateran 12 are kind of like the same beers that were developed by the same people. Is that right?
That's the story I was telling you. I got a little confused, but
yeah.
What happened was St. Bernardus. Well, what happened was the West Lateran people, St. Sixtus Abbey, they got in trouble with the Trappist certification agency because they weren't making their own beer. They were letting these people do it. So the Trappist said, "Oh well, if you keep doing that, you're going to lose your certification." So they told their contractor, right, who I think was City Brewing of Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Just kidding.
Wow.
They said, well, we got to break the contract because this problem, they're giving us trouble. So that the St. Bernardus people said, all right, they already had access to the recipes. They knew how to make it. So once the contract was over, they just went out and created their own Abbey style ale called St. Bernardus Abbey 12. And then the, you can look on their website, all the different varieties. They just basically mimicked the West Lateran products. And yeah, it's essentially the same thing. I've never done a blind taste test, so I can't say, I don't, are they identical? I don't know, but I mean, they're close. They're awesome, by the way.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, you definitely got to try. There's a whole push right now in craft beer with German beers and with the Belgian beers of all these different kind of sour beers, whether they're more of the pale, light, effervescent, more drinkable beers, or they're the Old Bruns, Flanders, red ales, those kind of Flemish sour ales, those kind of things. But I think that a lot of people that are getting into that trend could find a lot of things that they like about Chimay beers, St. Bernardus beers, darker, fruitier, yeastier kind of Belgian style, Abbey, Trappist style ales. I think there are a lot of companies in the United States that do a lot of these similar beers. Allagash being one, New Belgium being another one. I'm trying to think of another brewery, and it escapes me right now. But there are so many that do really great, authentic Trappist-style beers. So it would behoove you all to try a lot of them, and that's going to be how I end out this review topic. Does Jay have anything to end with?
No, I mean, there's nothing more to say. If you love awesome beers and you're not a cheapskate, and you could, once in your life, you could pay a little bit of money and buy something awesome. Yeah. Always have to buy Busch or Natural Ice. Go out and get the Chimay beers. You don't have to do it every day. You don't have to. That's where I think a lot of problems come in with the craft beer world. People think they have to do it exclusively. Like, well, if I drink craft beer, I have to stop drinking my Busch. No, you could do whatever you want to do. This is it's a free world. You don't have to do that. So yeah, step out, pay a little bit of money, and you're gonna love it. And then you can go back to drink the other inexpensive stuff.
My go-to standby beer right now is Stella Artois because it's been on sale ever since I've been out here. I've been drinking the bottles, very very cheap, pretty much dollar bottles of Stella Artois.
Wow.
That's like my go-to. So this is definitely more of a specialty beer.
Oh yeah.
And what are your closing thoughts for the evening, John Anille? I know you're loving that beer over there in Georgia.
I am. I'm having a hard time not just guzzling it. It's so damn good. But yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that all you guys said. Really, if you claim to like beer at all, if you haven't had Chimay, you need to try Chimay. You need to really try them all. But I mean, the Blue Cap is really, as far as I'm concerned, it's the best one. And it's, if you've never had any of the Trappist style beers, whatever you, can't even talk.
St. Bernardus, Chimay.
The 9%. No, yeah, the St. Bernardus, the Chimay, the West Lateran 12, which I still haven't had. I still haven't had that one. I'd be really interested to try that one. I mean, you're really missing out. You need to try these beers, and it'll really set the bar. It'll set a new standard for you, I think. And I mean, class beers, and everybody should try them at least once. And that's about it.
I can't really think of anything better to end on than that note. So on behalf of See You Later, Michael Komarov beaching it out on the Atlantic Ocean, Jay Terrio right there, John Anille, great points, Tyler Mansell, first time ever with this Chimay beer. This has been a cool review. White Label, yeah, sexy beer. Next week I got to get my story straight here. I wrote down the topic and I have the beers. Next week we are going to do on 7/18. We will do Victory Brewing Company beers. Yeah.
Not me. I can't get it.
I picked that beer because I thought you were going to be able to get it. God dang. All right.
No.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, 5 years ago, Victory was really popular, and then with all the local craft beers, Victory got changed off the shelf.
all right.
I mean,
well,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I have my schedule here too.
so hopefully in the next 2 weeks, then you'll be able to get a Rogue Brewing Company beer.
Oh yeah, I can get that. Yeah.
In the beginning of August, we're going to do Founders Brewing Company beers.
Sorry, what was the one? What was the last one you said before Founders?
On 7/25, we shall do the Rogue Brewing Company on this channel on Wednesdays. This is a Wednesday night.
Wait a second. I've never Rogue Brewing Company. Where is that from?
Oregon.
Oregon?
Oh, okay. I'll be able to get that then. Yes,
Make the Dead Guy Ale.
Sour Monkey by Victory. That's a great beer right there.
Yeah, it is, John and LA.
Anyways,
Right.
I have the rest of July on my channel for Friday.
Tyler Mansell channel schedule for Friday night, 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time, 4:30 Pacific Time. Go ahead.
Red beers.
Just happens to be tomorrow, which is July 13th. We're doing red beers as on schedule. And July 20th, we're doing beer and burgers. And July 27th, the last Friday of July, we are doing Hellas. Hellas style. Anything with the word Hellas in it, or if you can just find a Hellas. I was at the store today. I found a lot of in that style, so I'm excited for that.
Cool.
And we're going to do, in August sometime, we're going to do cheese and beer.
I like that. Cool.
Just what I did tonight, I might add.
Jay looked like just glory eating his sharp cheddar cheese and drinking his Trappist beer tonight. So we have to get on that level and experience that unique combination of beer and cheese.
We got Matt Robinson here. He says, checking in late, just got home. All Chimay beers are top notch without a doubt. Another great discussion. Thank you, sir. And then he says, looking forward to Victory Reviews. I live about an hour from there. Been there many times. Great place. And Dr. Dave is not a beer guy. Dr. Dave, not the beer guy. He says, what red beers are on tap for tomorrow? Already drank mine. I got to go buy another can of it. It is the Modern Times Blazing World I shall bring. That is a world-class beer right there.
I could get that, but I'll save it for tomorrow for a special surprise. Mine's might be expensive. I'll tell you that.
Cool.
I have a beer with honey added. Honey.
Ooh, not nice.
Mine also is only 11.2 ounces, but yeah.
Okay, well, cool. I think this has been a really cool examination. We're just about an hour and
I agree.
minutes long now, so I shall say, as we always do, until next time, keep tasting those great beers. Cheers. We'll see you soon, and that's been a wrap.
And I want to see Georgia beer reviews.
Let's do it.